Hello, my soul brothers and soul sisters. I am Ron Smith, and this is a Ron Smith investigating show where we separate the real from fake, the fact from fiction, and give you the winner's edge. And sometimes we're able to turn your water into wine. Today, we're going to talk about the ways to create wealth. Now, wealth is the abundance of valuable possessions. We're going to talk about finance, but that can be your social network, as well as your physical health and well-being, as well as your time. When you don't have your health, which your health is your wealth, then you will be able to squander your time. You will always be able to create a network of people that you socialize with, and you can always make more money. But your health and your time are two things of your valuable asset you will never be able to get back. And there's a difference between wealth and rich. Rich is a high net worth income annual person that, if I could create a six figure, seven figures, eight figures type income. But if I have a negative debt to asset ratio, I'm just rich because I have all the trappings of rich, but I really don't have the wealth that comes along with it. Today, we're going to talk about the acronym SMART. And SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And you're creating your plan, your financial plan, it has to be smart. You have to be specific about what you want to achieve. And that could be a dollar amount. It could be a number of things of assets. And it could be reducing your debt and all those things. Measurable is also in line with that is that it could be the dollar amount. Okay, it could be the number of assets. It could be that I want to accumulate at least $10 million a portfolio, and part of that portfolio is meaning that I'm gonna have a 20 multi-level family investment homes that I'm going to do. And I could have maybe a couple $1,000s worth of gold bullion or gold coins. It could be some of the artworks that we can have, some of the famous black painters, which, I'm into that. So those things could be measurable. It could be achievable, which means that basically I can do the things within my sphere. Last week I talked about collecting money, like the $2 bills. That's something that you can go to the bank, or you can trade within anybody within who has those things, which are relatively easy. And silver coins. Remember, I told you anything that's was created prior to 1964 are pure silver, or 90% silver. And after that, they have some copper finish. And you can also look at the pennies. Get those old pennies that your grandparents had that had in their in their old Prince Albert, or that coffee can. So those are things that are can be achievable, even though you may not have money to go to Sotheby's or some of those other high-end auctions. But it has to be relevant to you, and it has to be time bound, which means that basically you need to start immediately, if not sooner. So those are things that you need to have within your portfolio to be smart. The next thing is, how do I get large ticket items when I only have a small amount of money? And the best way to use leverage is what I call OPM. And OPM stands for other people's money. And normally when I talk about other people's money, is that even if you could start an investment group, or you could start a crowd fund, or you could start a GoFundMe, those are using other people's money. Which means that basically, in order for us to get the home that we have our own, or and I suggest that you get a multifamily unit type investment, that takes the same commercial loan that it takes for a home loan, but that's another subject for another day, that you will need to put 3 to 20% down in savings in order to actually get the financial companies to use their 80% to purchase that particular item. And in order to do that, that means that basically you use credit. Now, I always stated that basically there's a thing that there's good credit and there's bad credit. Good credit is that accumulate assets. Bad credit, it accumulates liability. And one of the things you have to realize that buying a new car, once you drive it off the lot, it just decreases in value. Even if you do a U-turn back on the lot, you will never, it won't be worth what it is. So remember that. Also, in order to get credit or be able to purchase those large ticket items, the financial organization is going to ask for your financial report card, which is your credit score. You didn't know that you were, even after school, that you accumulated a report card. So basically, your financial report card is your credit history or your payment history. Now, your score can be from 300 to 850. 850, of course, is the perfect immaculate credit score. And I'm going to touch a little bit on that later, how you actually can accumulate that, because time is in the essence when you do that. So how do you check your credit score? I'm glad you asked. The government has established each year that you can get a free credit report. Two things I like to mention on that is that you can have your annualcreditreport.com. That's annualcreditreport.com. And there's a phone number with that. It's 877-322-8228. 877-322-8228. Also, freecreditscore.com will also give you your credit scores. Who are these reporting agencies? There's Experian, there's TransUnion, there's Equifax, and one that I just picked up recently is Innovis. That's INOVIS. All these organizations report to these financial institutions that you are have applied for funds. There are factors that will generate your scores. Number one, your payment history. You have to start paying your bills on time. Your late payments or your will have negative effect. Second, credit card usage. Your credit card usage is the optimum is 30% of what your maximum balance is, which means basically if you had $1,000 credit limit, you can only use $300 that you're going to pay off at the end of the month. If you go over that, what leads you into number three, which with derogatory marks, which means that basically if you got late payments or no payments and that kind of thing will show up as a derogatory marks on your credit report. The age of your credit has a lot to do with it, which means that basically if you're recently into, if you hadn't created one during college, immediately when you get employed, you be one of the, like a novice or a newbie, and your credit age will determine what your credit score would be. The total number of accounts also will have a favorable or unfavorable impression on your credit report, which means that basically I suggest that basically you keep your accounts to a minimum, which means basically if your mortgage, your car payment, maybe have 2 credit cards and maybe a debit card. So basically you won't be overcrowding your total account. hard inquiries has an effect on your credit report. And what I mean by that is anytime that you apply for a credit card or any type of loan, et cetera, one of the things that I suggest you ask, is this going to be a soft inquiry or a hard inquiry? They have to tell you that. Most times, if you go to, Nordstrom's, Macy's, et cetera, those are hard inquiries unless you ask. Make sure you ask, is this going to be a soft or is this going to be a hard inquiry? Those are the factors on your financial report card. So in order actually to take hold and get serious about building your wealth plan, those are some of the factors. And one of the things I'm going to suggest is, how do I improve that? You said, Dr. Ron, basically, I hadn't paid attention to my credit score in the past. And I know there's some things on there basically that I need to adjust. And one of the things that, first of all, get your credit report, get your free copy of your credit report, and make sure that whether you're Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, or Novus, because different financial institutions use different reporting agencies. So my suggestion is get a copy from each one of these, because sometimes your report history might be on Experian, but it may not be on TransUnion or Equifax. But if you get a copy of all three, you have a good picture of where you stand. That's the beginning of how you create your wealth plan. And how do I improve my score? One of the things that, remember, I told you that basically they look at the age of your credit, finding unauthorized users. Now, I would only suggest that basically you do this for somebody that you know very well, or your children. Remember, I gave you the example about 3 or 4 months ago that some of my peers' parents had put them on their credit card when they was like 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. So by the time they graduated from college, they already had 10 years of credit report that was par excellence, which means that basically when they went in to purchase that Corvette or that baby Mercedes, they can get it from almost on a signature loan or less than 4%. And since my credit was jacked up, if I could afford the vehicle, I would probably have to pay 14%, just because I don't have the credit history of some of my peers when I was a professional. So in order for you to build a platform for your children for the next generation, consider creating an authorized user credit card just for them, something that you know that you're going to be paying off monthly. And my suggestion is put your phone on there, something that you know you're going to use and you're going to be paying it off monthly. And basically, that's how basically they can improve their score. Number 2 is that there are credit builders apps. And 2 that I know right off the top of my head is creditstrong.com, creditstrong.com, selflender.com. These are mechanisms that could help you save at the same time. It appears like it's a debt on your credit report, and they will report this to those reporting agencies like Experian, Equifax, and Novus and TransUnion. And right after the break, we will continue talking about being smart with our money.
After the holidays are over, most Americans prepare for taxes. Titan Tax is ready to make filing your taxes as stress-free as possible. This veteran-owned virtual tax office will prepare and submit your tax return safely from the comfort of your home. If you filed unemployment for the first